So in this video, we're going to do a little bit of cleanup and kind of maybe add in a few extra pieces to our navigation bar. The first one is if you want to get rid of these underline here for the links, we can do that in the CSS for the link. And the property for that is called text decoration. You can see different options. You could do dotted if you want to make this dotted, or we could just do none to get rid of it. Now you notice here when we refresh, now it's not underlined. I think that's okay when you have a navigation bar. People usually understand, oh, this thing is a link. I shouldn't, need to be as explicit with a underline. Okay, so we got that. One thing I had in my template was to put the name over here on the left. So let's actually move this Uptown Coffee name over here. The astute watcher also might have noticed too that our order is backwards. We can see I did Uptown Coffee above about menu, but it flipped the order. It pushed everything to the right, assuming like the first thing is the first thing that goes to the right, etc. We'll change the order in a second, but let's start by moving this over here. What we did with to make everything move to the right was we added this property called float right. Pushed everything to the right hand side. Now we just want to push this to the left hand side. I could write some separate CSS here, but since this is a one-off, we might as well just write the CSS in line. We haven't done that too much, but I'm going to go here to the home page, and my Uptown Coffee, since again this is just one thing, one property, I'm going to write the property in here because we've been changing it inside the list items. So inside the list item for Uptown Coffee, I'll do style, float, left. So this says, hey, for Uptown Coffee, we have a special property. That one's going to float left. Now if I refresh it, now Uptown Coffee is now over here on the left-hand side. And regarding these ordering, one thing we could do is just swap the order. Put about down here and put contact up here. There's probably a better way to do this, like a more official way, but it gets the job done. Okay, so we now have these all kind of laid out. And what can we do next? The next thing we might want is something so that we could hover over these and have them change color or background color, something like that. To do this, we will go to the navbar.css. We're going to add a new property here. And this one's a little bit special. It is a property that only happens when you hover over something. To do this, we're going to specify the thing we want to change. We want to change these links. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I specifically want to change the links that are in a list item in the menu ID. But the addition here I'm going to use is a colon and write the word hover. So this is a kind of pseudo selector. It's a little bit different in the sense that like you're not just picking an element, but you're picking a thing that's happening to the element. So you're saying, for this link, if you hover over it, then choose these CSS properties. So we want a different background color and a color. In here, we'll do background color. I think I'll do light cyan for mine. I'll do a lighter background to kind of conflict with or contrast with the orange. And the color, I think in my notes I used this bold color. Let's save that. Let's go over here and refresh. And now watch what happens when you hover over. Now you can see that it is changing. It changes the background color and the color too. You could do basically anything in the hover. You could do like font size, like 200 pixels. This is going to look obnoxious, but let's just check it. So it just like blows up like that. So again, like the hover here, it changes any CSS you want. You can do font size, you can do color, background color. We're not restricted in what we want to change. But for now, we'll just do the background color and the color. The other thing I might want to do is I might want my active page to have this coloring as well. So how do I do that for my active page? Right now I'm on the Uptown Coffee page, so I probably want this page to always have this light cyan background. If I go to the homepage.html, we can then give the Uptown Coffee in its list item a class name. I'm just going to call it class of active. So here, this is the active link that we are currently using. I'll save that, saving my HTML, and then I'll reference it down here. So for this, I want the menu and any instance of the active class. So you have to have the class name active, and you have to have this menu ID. We're just going to use the same background color and color. I'll save it. And now what happens is, oop, that doesn't seem to work. What did I miss? Let's check and make sure I spelled everything right. Class active, that seems fine. And so my mistake here is actually kind of subtle. Right now, the background color and color are being applied to the link. Or sorry, the link, not the list item itself. So what I was doing was I was coloring the list item, but then our anchor tag, the URL, was overwriting it with the other color. What I should be doing is putting the class not in the list item, but in the anchor tag, because that's where we're doing the coloring. In our Navbar CSS, we have the original color here in the link. It's a little bit subtle there. You could have probably done this different ways, but I should be doing, I should be putting the class in the anchor tag, not in the list item. Let's see if that works. Now when we refresh, now we can see it's actually happening. We actually have this coloring here. So that coloring is in effect, and we have this highlight as well. And that kind of puts our menu in a nicer spot. Now we have a kind of horizontal nav bar here, and it seems to have all the pieces we want. In the coming videos, we're going to look at linking this to different web pages. So we're actually going to make a new website we can land to, or a new web page, and have these direct us there.